Welcome students to ND's English grammar channel on YouTube. In this grammar, I will discuss some advanced negatives which are of course interesting and common to you after understanding the primary negatives. So at first, these are number one, sentential negatives. The name sounds a bit tricky, but it is easy. These negatives apply to the whole sentence, entire sentence. This is a misconception. There is a misconception that all negatives apply to the sentence, means whole sentence. But no, there are tricky negatives, different kinds of negatives. So in writing mechanism, in writing clearly for the upper standard, say beyond 10, you need to be a master in negatives. Example, I don't like coffee. The sentence is I like coffee, and here negative, present tense negative don't has been used in contracted form. So the whole sentence becomes negative, means I do not like coffee. Number two, constituent negatives. These negatives apply to a specific part of the sentence, particular part of the sentence. Example, a noun phrase or a verb phrase. Example, I like non-vegetarian food. Now look here, I like food is the main sentence, but vegetarian has been made a negative phrase by using non-negative suffix with a hyphen. That is non-vegetarian. Only this part is negative. Number three, semantic negatives. These negatives imply negative meaning without using an explicit negative word. Explicit negative word means clear negative words such as no, not, nothing, never, etc. Example, he is a failure. It implies a negative outcome. He is a failure means, or if you say he failed, means he did not pass. So the word fail contains a negative sense, and if we break it, not pass. Now morphological negatives. These negatives use prefixes or suffixes from negative words. Actually those are negative suffix, negative prefixes such as an, al, mal, in. These are negative prefixes which can be added before a word to make the word negative. Example, unhappy uses a prefix an to form negative word with the positive word happy. I am unhappy means I am not happy. Here unhappy can be broken into pure negative word not and the word happy. Now lexical negatives. These negatives use negative words, phrases with inherent negative meaning. Example, never, none, nowhere. So these words got negative sense inside them. And if I help you, never, it can be broken into no plus ever. None can be broken into no plus one. Nowhere can be broken into no plus where or not plus anywhere. So you can see that in these words there is a pure negative word. Multiple negatives. Multiple negatives, the word suggests that there are more negatives than one. These negatives use two or more negatives, words or phrases in a sentence. For example, I don't know nothing about that. It sounds a bit tricky or rhetorical, students. I don't know nothing. Here the first negative is don't and the second negative is nothing. These kind of negatives or rhetorical types of negatives are used in transformation. I can give you one example. There is no mother who does not love her child. So in the first main clause there is no, and in the second subordinate clause is does not. So double negatives can be used, I will explain, and double negatives can make positive sense. Now, negative imperatives. These negatives are used to imperative sentences, commands or request to express a negative instruction. Example, don't touch that, don't go there, don't stand up in the middle. Then negative interrogatives. This is a very common type, or interrogative negatives, children say. These negatives are used in interrogative sentences or questions to ask a negative question. For example, don't you like coffee? Don't you go there often? So students, these are a few negatives with their examples. I hope these advanced type of negatives will help you to understand negative better. I will also discuss the negative part 1, which are simple kind of negatives, common negatives. Please subscribe and follow ND's Grammar channel. Thank you.